Secondhand Lions, a novelization by John Whitman based off the screenplay by Tim McCanlies. Narrated here by Foster_reading. I have also included connecting questions at the end of every chapter in case your teacher may want to use it. Otherwise, you can continue on in the Secondhand Lion playlist on my channel to keep reading. Either way, thank you so much for listening. Tiny trigger warning for this chapter. There is slight physical violence or implied threats against a child. It's brief. The book is PG and so is the movie, so do with that information what you will. Thank you. After breakfast, the two uncles went into the front yard to work on the beginnings of a garden. The sun had risen now, warming the air, and it was a nice day for yard work. They had already marked off a big patch of earth. Garth and Hub picked up hoes and began to hack at the hard Texas earth, turning it over to prepare for planting. Following their lead, Walter picked up a hoe that was too big for him and began to chip away at the ground. The dogs and the pig watched them work.
"I hate this,"
Hub said after a while. Garth shrugged.
"We're retired. Gardening is what retired people do."
Hub spat.
"What the hell do we want a bunch of vegetables for anyway?" "They're good for you. Make you live to be 100. "To hell with that,"
Hub shot back. He threw down his hoe violently and stormed off. Walter jumped out of his way, but Garth didn't seem fazed.
"Getting old's bad enough," he shouted. "Getting mad about it doesn't help."
Walter stopped hoeing. He watched Hub stomp away toward the house, angry at growing old. He wondered if that's what he had been doing the night before in his sleep, battling the forces of time. A car rolled up the driveway. Walter's first thought was it was too early for salesmen, but this car was full of adults and children, and it drove carelessly across their newly dug garden rows. All four doors flew open at once, and out piled the riders. A mother, a father, and 3 children. The oldest child was a girl, a few years older than Walter. The other 2 were boys. Wild boys in civilized clothes as far as Walter could tell. From the moment their feet touched the ground, they were running, screaming, and getting into trouble. Even the dogs scattered as they ran around the yard.
"Uncle Garth,"
the mother called.
"Where's Uncle Hub? Kids, say hello to Uncle Garth."
The wild boys stopped long enough to join their sister in a chorus of, "Oh, Uncle Garth." The mother smiled at Garth, who was not smiling back.
"We're here for a nice long visit the whole weekend. We know how lonely our favorite uncles get."
Garth cursed. He threw down his hoe and stormed away in the same direction Hub had gone, disappearing into the house. Immediately, the loving looks on the newcomers' faces disappeared. They glared at Walter as though he were a hated enemy.
"Who are you?"
the father demanded. Walter stammered.
"Walter?"
The mother furrowed her eyebrows and pursed her lips.
Walter? May's boy?"
Walter nodded. The man looked at his wife.
"What's this, Helen?"
Helen explained.
"Ralph, that's Pearl's daughter. That loose widow woman always running around."
Ralph put his hands on his hips.
"Figures she'd try to muscle in?"
Helen fired questions at Walter.
"Is May here?"
Walter shook his head.
"How long are you here for?"
Shrug. She scowled.
"Well, we'll just see about that."
Helen chased after the 2 old men. Ralph glared down at Walter.
"We know what you're up to, and you're not getting away with it."
Then he too stomped off toward the house. Walter guessed he was referring to the fortune Hub and Garth were supposed to have hidden somewhere. Little did they know that he wasn't exactly part of Hub and Garth's inner circle. Walter decided to follow them to the house. He reached the porch in time to hear them talking inside.
"Men at your age,"
Helen was saying. Her voice was high-pitched and annoying. It reminded Walter of fingernails sliding down a chalkboard.
"taking in that strange little boy. He's probably robbing you blind."
Walter peeked through the front window. Hub and Helen were standing toe-to-toe. Helen, though much shorter than Hub, didn't seem intimidated. She was like a shrew battling a badger.
If you want young people around, you're welcome to any of mine. They're very well behaved.
A squeal distracted Walter. He looked into the yard. The two wild boys had caught the pig, and now they were riding the poor beast across the garden, bellowing Indian war whoops. Inside, Hub shot back.
We don't want any damn kids.
You two can't even take care of yourselves. Now you take in this boy with all his problems?
What problems? Walter thought. Then he remembered his mother, her driving, and her habit of leaving him places, and he thought, oh, yeah. Garth, who lounged calmly in a chair with his feet up on the table, said casually,
His mama's due back before long.
Helen sneered, her expression twisting into a look uglier than Walter thought possible for a real person.
That woman. Ha! What I hear, she may never come back. What then? You'll be stuck with him.
Walter looked down, miserable. He backed away from the door, hoping she was wrong, but knowing she could be right. He turned and saw the girl, sitting at the end of the porch with a book in her hand. Her name was Martha. He had heard her mother call her that when they'd arrived. She seemed the opposite of the two wild boys. She was calm and neatly dressed, even pretty. But when she saw him staring, she stared at him down the end of her nose as if to say, Well, what do you want? Walter tilted his head toward her book. I read a lot of books, too,
Oh, I'm impressed.
Martha said in a very nasty voice. She turned back to her book. Nasty as she was the only person around to talk to, and Walter had never had much a chance to talk to girls older than he was. He leaned over to see the cover of her book. It was called Horses. Do you like...
Yes,
She snapped, as though he had been pestering her for days.
I like horses. Daddy says when my uncles die, I can have a pony.
Walter blinked. He wasn't sure where to go with that conversation, so he tried something else. Uncle Hub and Uncle Garth told me all about living in Africa. Martha laughed.
They're big fat liars. That's what Daddy says. He should know. He's a lawyer.
But then where were they for 40 years? Walter asked her. Where'd they get all their money? Martha gave him a level gaze.
They robbed banks.
Walter gasped. Bank robbers? Uncle Hub and Uncle Garth? Martha's expression was smug.
Daddy has it all figured out. Years ago, there were these two famous bank robbers nobody ever caught. They wore disguises.
She glanced up at the window to make sure the grown-ups were out of earshot. Then she leaned in close.
The famous Santa Claus bandits.
Across the screen of his imagination, Walter saw Hub and Garth. They were dressed in big, bulky Santa Claus costumes, carrying shotguns and shooting up the inside of a bank. In one hand, Hub held a bag of money. In the other, he held a dead catfish. Walter shook his head to clear the image. It wasn't possible. Was it? He sat for a moment, then slowly walked to the door of the kitchen and went inside. Helen was standing there, hands on her hips, arguing with the uncles. No one noticed him.
Take him to the country boys' home,
She demanded.
They know how to handle troublemakers like him.
Garth looked worried.
If his mama don't show back up soon, we may have to.
Hub grunted.
If we're lucky, we won't live that long.
He locked eyes with Helen.
I'm telling you, take him to the orphanage right this minute.
Helen shrieked, the veins on her neck bulging.
Whether we take the kid to the orphanage or tie him up and throw him in the lake, it's our business, not yours.
Hub shot back, his face only inches from Helen's. Walter gasped. An orphanage? He froze as the adults turned to stare at him. Ralph grabbed him roughly by the shirt collar.
Here he is now, spying.
Ralph shook him hard and raised his hand to slap him. Walter panicked. Before he had time to think about it, he kicked Ralph right in the knee. The man yelped and let go, and Walter bolted. Anywhere had to be better than here, where he wasn't wanted. End of Chapter 7. Thank you for reading with me today. If your teacher would like to listen to my connection questions for you to answer, continue listening. Otherwise, you can click on the next video on my Secondhand Lions playlist to continue reading on to the next chapter. Either way, thank you for listening to Secondhand Lions by John Whitman, narrated by me, Foster_reading. Chapter 7 Questions. Question 1. Why does Hub throw down his gardening tool and storm away after Garth told him they are growing vegetables so they could live to be 100 years old? A. He doesn't like gardening because he thinks it's boring. B. He is frustrated by the idea of getting older and doesn't want to think about aging. C. He wants Walter to do all the work. D. He is angry because the dogs ruined the garden. Question 2. When Helen's family first arrives, they smile and say they came for a nice long visit. As soon as Garth and Hub leave, they glare at Walter. What does this sudden change in behavior suggest about the family? A. They only act friendly when Garth and Hub are watching. B. They forgot Walter's name. C. They are nervous around strangers. D. They are excited to meet Walter. Number 3. Walter tells Martha that he likes reading too, but she responds in a rude voice and later tells him her father believes Hub and Garth were famous bank robbers. Which statement best describes Martha? A. She enjoys making Walter feel welcome. B. She believes everything her father tells her without questioning it. C. She secretly wants to help Walter escape. D. She is afraid of talking to strangers. Question 4. Helen insists that Walter should be sent to an orphanage, while Hub argues,
Whether we take that kid to the orphanage or tie him up and throw him in the lake, it's our business, not yours.
What does this argument reveal about Hub? A. He truly wants to throw Walter into the lake. B. Although Hub acts tough, he doesn't want Helen making decisions for him or Walter. C. Hub agrees Walter belongs in an orphanage. D. Hub is trying to scare Walter away. Last question, question 5. Short answer. Write 3 to 5 sentences that explain 1. What you predict will happen in the next chapter, and 2. If you think the uncles truly are the Santa Claus bandits or not. So long as you give a reasonable answer in good faith, there is no wrong answer to this question. Just no writing that aliens are going to come out of the sky in the next chapter. Something reasonable based on what we read so far. Thank you. End of questions. I appreciate you guys so much for listening to this chapter of Secondhand Lions, and I hope you continue reading on with me, Foster Reading. Have a wonderful day.